Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Oh. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another edition of In the Blender with your host, Shake Money. I have a special guest for you today. Today, we are going to toast the 1972 Miami Dolphins. I have some Flor de Caña, the 50-year anniversary edition. And I normally do my monologues by myself, but being that this guy is very knowledgeable about the 72 Dolphins, today he's going to be my Jim Mandich, if you will, of the show. You know, he's going to give me some color commentary on the 1972 Dolphins. I wrote some highlights and things of that nature. So, with no further ado, please welcome Mr. Vic Coaster. What is up?
What's
Welcome.
up?
How you doing, my brother?
Good, guys. You hear me okay?
Yeah, oh, wonderful. Thank you.
Awesome.
Oh man,
Thanks for having me on. Thanks for having me on the show, buddy. Appreciate it.
Sure. Thank you for coming on, man. It's an honor.
The 72 Dolphins. I felt like I was old when you said that. I was like, oh man, it just means I'm old.
Oh yeah, I know the feeling, brother.
Right?
And it was funny is like when what's depressing is when you hear the football coach being younger than, like, I'm 40 and I hear coaches that are like younger than me. I'm like, oh, holy damn.
Yeah, and I thought about that when I was younger too. I thought, eventually I'm going to be older than the coaches that we're talking about, and I knew that was coming years ago. So I expected it. As you get older, you get more wiser, I think.
Yeah, this is true.
Yeah.
So for everybody out here, I just want to say,
Morning, Your Majesty. It is another beautiful day in Zamunda.
you know how it is, man.
Oh yeah, I know how it is.
Yo, hey, shout out real quick to the first one in the building, Mr. Raphael Cartwright. How you doing, my brother? What is good? What is good?
Let me ask you this. Is there a link that I can put anywhere that you have available? Did it already come up? Because my daughter wants to watch this. I already texted her. So if you put the link in the comments, or how does that work? Or maybe Facebook or YouTube? Or?
Yeah, it's on. I'll tell you what. It's on Facebook. We do have it on Facebook. I'll tag you in it.
Okay, sounds good.
Give me 1 second. While we're talking, before as I do this real quick, let me ask you.
Sure.
The one thing that I want to ask you was, when I noticed watching the highlights about the 72 Dolphins, I noticed the goalpost was at the very front of the goal. You know, the goalpost was at the very front. You know.
Yeah, it's at the line where you're supposed to get a touchdown.
Yeah. What was the? Have you seen anybody run themselves into it?
Well, I would say it probably happened. I was only 6 years old at the time. I do remember the jubilance of that game from my family, who was gathered around in a trailer because we lived in Davie that time. And I remember the jubilance, but I don't remember if anybody ran into the goalpost. I'm sure it happened, but I don't remember that. So I can't say I could. But I think a lot of the plays went to the left or right, not straight ahead.
Yeah. So you had the three running backs. Out of the three running backs, out of the four-headed running monster, it was Kick, Moore, Jim Kick, Larry Zonka, and who's the other one?
I'd have to look. Yeah, I've no. Yeah.
Yeah,
I watched those games. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I know the main ones. That's the main thing. You know, you look at Kick and you look at, some of these guys that. Zonka was just a beast, dude. I mean, I watched him, just run right through people. It was a man's game back then for sure.
And how about and what another thing that stood out to me is the different the jersey numbers. It like, for instance, uh, Nick Budokan wore 85.
Mm-hmm.
And the safety wore number 13, which was, I think, the only two 13s that you see nowadays.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
In the NFL.
Totally different. And it keeps changing. That's the thing. And I think the game evolves around the fan base because the NFL wants it to be popular and wants it to be very successful. So I think the numbers change as people adapt to what they think it should be. And that's one thing that the NFL is very good at, is adapting to be popular and make as much money as possible. Mercury Morris. Yes. Thank you, Raphael.
Yeah. American. Yeah. Yeah. That was kind of like the three-headed monster, if you will.
Yeah. We're watching different videos of Mercury Morris and that team back then, and afterwards, of course, when I was older. And those guys, they're just, they had to get jobs during the summer. They only played, football during the winter when it was, cooler. And then Shula would, of course, do 3-4 days, and, my family lived close to where the practice facility was. So, we would go jog. My grandfather would jog at the track where they actually practiced next door at the college. And I can remember, them out there practicing while we were out there. I was jogging with him just to be with my grandfather. So, yeah, there's some memories I have like that are very, very special that a lot of people don't have.
By the way, Bleezy says, what's up? Bleezy38.
What's up, Bleezy38?
So, all right, let's get to some highlights. All right, let's start off with the first win of the 72 Dolphins was by the way, I sent you the link on Facebook. Let me know if you get it. All right. The first win was against the Chiefs, the Kansas City Chiefs, and then the Houston Oilers at the time.
Mm-hmm. The Oilers, yep.
Yep. And then Vikings was win number 3, which the reason I bring that up is Nick Budokan got 5 sacks. And Frank Tarkenton was the quarterback. Now, Big O was he kind of compared Tua to Frank Tarkenton. How would you what would you say on that assessment?
Well, Frank Tarkenton was a lot like Tua, is the fact that he was a touch passer. He was a person that could put the ball ahead of you, and he could know where you were going to be. That team was really, really with that quarterback. It was really about where you're going to be before I even throw it. And so I think Frank Tarkenton was actually one of those guys that he had some long balls like Tua. He could throw it long, but it had to be like open where, he knew that there's nobody else going to get it. Other than that, it was all the 20, 15, 20, 25 yard line yards at a clip. And Frank Tarkenton, he was very good at placing the ball wherever he wanted it, for sure.
All right. And then San Diego Chargers, which this is where Greasy went down, and we brought in the quarterback Earl Morrow, who was at 38 years old at the time, in front of a record, according to a record crowd of 80,000 fans in the Orange Bowl.
Yeah, the Orange Bowl was something. If you were old enough to remember the Orange Bowl, there was some good games there, and it was sad when they changed from it. But Morrow was like the Strock. When Marino came on, Morrow was the guy you could always count on to be there. He was the old standby. And, he wasn't there long after I started really paying attention to watching football. So I'm more of a Strock Marino guy. I was there when Marino started. Mm-hmm. And so, go back to Greasy. I remember watching Greasy play, Woodley play. Remember those guys playing. But Morrow was just, you knew you could count on him not to make the mistake. He was going to be there to help good.
Hey, shout out to Cruz Ruiz in the building. Thank you for stopping by, man.
Hey, Cruz.
And then number 6, we played Buffalo. That one we held O.J. Simpson to 14 yards at the half.
Mm-hmm.
And as a matter of fact, the note on that one is Manny Fernandez snatched the ball to win the game by 1 point.
Wow. Sorry. So who was the quarterback?
That at the time for Buffalo?
Yeah.
No, they didn't really say, but
didn't say. Gotcha. Trying to remember who the quarterback was, because I don't think they had a good quarterback back then, and don't remember that at all. So I think our defense of course, the score shows it, is that they ate up their offense, and just our defense was tough. I mean, there's not a lot of of course, now we know all the names, but back then nobody expected our team to play like that. That was just unreal.
By the way, Cartwright says he agrees with you. Marino is the reason why Dolphins is his team.
Well, my family made me a fan, and then of course with Marino, that made me after that. So I've been a fan for ever. It's in my blood. So yeah, that's just the way it is.
I was a casual fan for a while, and then Brian Cox is the one who turned me to
Oh, I remember Brian Cox. Yeah,
so,
I remember him for sure.
And then now we're a division rival that isn't our division rival, the Baltimore
Indianapolis.
Yep, Baltimore at the time, which we stole them from Don Shula.
Yep.
We stole Don Shula from them.
Yep.
So and that one, we blocked two special teams. This is why all three phases of the football matter. The special teams had two block punts and a fumble return, a fumble punt recovery to win that game.
Yep, defense. Yeah. Yeah, I remember when Baltimore, I think about the Baltimore teams back then. They were how long? I don't remember they were in the franchise. I got to look and see. But yeah, you bring up a lot of memories. I have to go back and fact check now because I remember watching those games, but there's a lot of things that the Baltimore Colts is how long they were in after that. Then it became Indianapolis, who was in our division. We had 5 teams in our division, and then of course it went to 4. But anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
That's okay. No. That's all good, man. Please. We got time here, so
all right.
Take your time, my brother. Especially now, before Larry K was producing, so I kind of was mindful of the time because I didn't want to waste his time. But now that I'm doing the producing, we got time.
Wait, well, good job having the channel, and like I said, I appreciate you doing this because I'm a full supporter of any YouTuber. Try to be any YouTuber support I can because the media doesn't give us all the news that we want, and my YouTubers do.
Yes, exactly. Lastly, before and this is week 8, we beat Buffalo again, and before we move on to Buffalo, I just want to.
Cheers, brother.
Toast.
Toast
to you, my brother. 2023.
I too am a Florida Canna fan, as you just bought a bottle of that. I have a bottle of that. This is the last of it.
Oh, cool.
And then of course I'm a big rum and Coke fan too. So
me too.
I'm a rum guy.
Yeah, me too. My two favorite is either Captain Morgan Private Stock or that Bumbu.
Oh, really? I've got some of that somewhere around here somewhere.
That is, Those are the only 2 rums that I could sip neat.
You like the light one or the dark one?
The light one. The
dark one. Yeah. Me too.
The dark one, I don't know. It doesn't taste.
We could do a show on rums, probably me and you, because we have the same likeness on that. I've got different. I've got about 20 different bottles of rum here, and I've sampled so many different ones because they're sipping, to drinking, all that stuff. Anyway, fun stuff.
For sure. All right, now let's move on to Week 9, Buffalo, and what was special about that game was that Don Shula became the first coach to win 100 games within 10 years.
Wow. I didn't know that. I didn't know that fact. Wow.
Yeah. And they beat New England 52-0.
So what year, here's the thing, what year did he join the Dolphins?
I would say back in 69.
68?
68. Yeah, 68. No,
68.
Yeah, because all right, let's do the math. He was there. His first year, they went to Super Bowl, right? And they beat the Cowboys. Then 72 was the second year, and then they went undefeated. So
right.
So
you got to go back one or two more behind that.
Yeah, and then he went to the Colts. He was in the Colts for a while.
Yeah. So
he's had a history of winning.
Yes. I've actually had those Coke cans somewhere around here when he won his record for winningest coach. I've actually got the Coca-Cola can still sitting here somewhere. This is a 6-pack. So it's like a 1990 something. I have to look at them again. but I saved that 6-pack of Cokes with his picture on it, the winningest coach.
Okay, and then the Jets, week 10, that was the week that the Dolphins had clinched the AFC East title. That was their hat and shirt game.
Week 10.
Week 10.
10.
Then Monday night, they played the St. Louis Cardinals, not the St. Louis Rams, the Cardinals. Then they played New England. Then they went week 13. They went to Yankee Stadium to play the Giants.
Wow.
Only difference is the Giants actually ruined somebody's perfect season, which was, you already know who that was. Whose perfect season?
Oh, that was New England.
Yep.
New England. Yep.
And speaking of which,
love that. Watch that.
Yeah, and then last game of the season, we beat the Colts to be the first team to go 14-0. And the first team to go 14-0, and the third consecutive time they shut out the Colts.
Yeah. Wow.
All right.
And then the playoffs, right?
Yeah. And what was crazy, I never understood, is why did one second, let me see. The coach of the Jaguars was our quarterback when he won that game.
The Giants game?
Yeah,
Giants New England game?
Jags New England game? Which one are you talking about, Anthony? Let me know, please. But what was crazy is back then, what I never understood is the fact that we played all games away, all the away games.
Really?
Yeah, it was in San Diego. Oh shoot! Shout out to Anthony with the $20 donation. Peace, Larry. Keep up the good work. I enjoy the videos. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you, man. Yeah, Larry is on hiatus right now, but he's helped. I'm helping him stay. He's with his off-season things. He's gonna be back from time to time to make videos. But I appreciate the super chat, brother. Thank you so much, man.
Let's grow the channel. Grow the channel for some dolphin YouTubers. That's all I'm about.
Thank you, brother. All right, and with another 2 donation. Coach in the game. Yeah, he is. I think Don Shula. Yep. Thank you, brother. And what's funny is I was hearing Master at work. I like to hear him from time to time.
Oh yeah,
he's very funny.
He's
funny.
a mess.
But he's funny. He's funny.
He is. He's a whole different person, because when Doug had him on, he was a total different personality than he is when he's on with TD and all the AFC, all that stuff. Total different person. So I respect the on-screen persona.
But no, he was saying that, man, he wanted to get rid of Belichick, and he was saying that maybe the only reason he's probably sticking around is because he wants to beat that Don Shula record.
Oh, yeah.
He needs 19 more games to do it.
Yeah. What a shame, but I understand. It's about records, I get it. But it just means New England's going to be down for a while. Maybe 2 more seasons of not having a new coach. Maybe 3. So
yeah.
I'm okay with that. Takes New England out of contention to go against the Jets and the Dolphins. In Buffalo, of course, but
so anyway, we have the Pittsburgh. First game was at the Chargers. We beat them. Then we beat them then we had to go to Cleveland. And then after that, we went to Pittsburgh. To beat them in Pittsburgh. Yep. And finally,
remember it was snowing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oh man, dude, I appreciate it. Another $5 donation, brother. Thank you so much. When Shula won the game for the
Doug Peterson.
Coach, Doug Peterson was the coach. Yep. Yes. That's okay. That's what. Yeah, you're right, bro. This guy knows his stuff. I tell you what, brother. Thank you again for the donation, brother. It means a lot to the channel. Larry K appreciates it, and we all appreciate it, bro. I created this channel so we could have, like I said, it's like a Throwback Thursday show, and it's a show where we could appreciate this team, man. Because at the end of the day, sometimes we forget the good times and we just focus on the negative. You know what I mean?
Yeah. A lot of history with the Dolphins.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. I kind of stole the idea from in the fish tank with Seth and OJ McDuffie.
Yeah.
But the only thing was is like you heard the players' memories. This time I want it from the fans' perspective, like you, like yourself, like Larry L. The guys that were there. And
it definitely is I mean, that's the thing. If you've been a fan for 50, 55, 56, 57 years, as long as you can remember, it's ingrained in you that you're waiting for Sunday during game day. That's it. There's nothing else you're going to do,
Yeah, man. So, and of course, they almost went 17-0 in that playoff win, but I think there was a fumble, and reason they caused it to, Cesar Ruiz, born and raised in Philly, never been to South Florida. Fell in love watching the MI in Tennessee in 2001. Zach Thomas, pick 6. I've been at Dolphin games.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's what's up. Zach Thomas, finally in the Hall of Fame. What you think, bro?
in his honor.
Oh yeah.
This is when he was playing. I got this jersey.
Oh man, thank you, Cruz Ruiz, for participating. I appreciate everybody. Listen, I like to say before I get started, Friday, I was doing some yard work, okay, and what happened was I was doing yard work. I broke my back window.
Oh no!
Yeah, and so I called several different window companies, and there's one in Port Charles, and where I live is called Excessive Windows. I promise I give them a shout out because not only were they professional, courteous, he's a small business just like us. You know what I'm saying? So if you're in the Southwest Florida area and you need a good window person, he was there on time. He gave me the lowest price, and professionals. It's called Excessive Windows. Excessive Windows, and so it's the first name it pops up on Google. I called them first and get many quotes. They gave me the cheapest. By the way, they are not a sponsor of the show. I'm just shouting them out because of the wonderful job, and I'm one of those guys that appreciation is key to life. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
you have to be grateful, bro, because at the end of the day, man, ungrateful people don't get shit in life. Sorry, but that's how I feel.
I agree.
You get what you give, bro.
Yep.
And gratitude is a key in life. Be grateful for everything we have.
Shake, do they have a Facebook page or do they have Twitter or anything? Do you know? Maybe you want to find out and put them out there.
Yeah, I'm gonna reach out to him eventually and let him know that hey, because he gave me he subscribed to the channel even though he's not a football fan.
Okay, good.
But anyway, now that I got that out the way, let's get to the real. I want to also thank Larry K and the Finn's Tailgate. Finn's Tailgate this Saturday night. I made a cocktail drink on this channel. See, last year we did a channel on Wednesdays, right? It was called Larry G Shaking the Panel, and I would have one of my personas was Shake Hefner.
Oh boy.
Yeah. And when we celebrated, I celebrated with a salty tua, and that's 2 ounces of salted caramel whiskey, 2 ounces of hazelnut, a 1/4 ounce of honey whiskey.
Okay.
And splash a little pineapple juice or add some pineapple garnishes, whatever you want. And that was my salty tua, which we put up. We had rusty tua, salty tua, and I forgot what the other name was, but salty tua won. So the Fury Fam named that drink, and it was created here on the Fury Fam. And I appreciate you, Larry, for allowing me to make this cocktail.
Very
So,
cool.
but all right, now let's get to the subject matter at hand. What made you a Dolphin fan?
Oh man, I've been a Dolphin fan as long as I can remember. Like I said, my grandparents were Dolphin fans. My dad was a Dolphin fan. I know they got on because we lived in South Florida. So, all I can remember, my earliest Dolphin fan is watching everybody cheering at 6 years old in front of the TV because the Dolphins won the Super Bowl. So 72 was my year where I really was coherent enough to remember that. So I've been a fan watching Dolphin games since then, since 72. And I've never, as far as I know, because before cable, we had radio. Before that, we had newspapers and radio, so I would wait for the newspaper to come out as a kid, and I would take it from my dad and read the sports section and find out who had what stats, who was what and where. Matter of fact, if I didn't know anything about football, because I've never played football, but if I didn't know anything, it doesn't matter because I was still reading on my players that I liked and all that stuff. So over the years, we've had thousands of players go through Miami's doors, but that doesn't matter because it's a team thing. I'm a team fan. I'm a team fan forever. And so whether you go 1-15 or you go 17-0, I've always been there. If they say you bleed orange and aqua, that's me. And there's not a time where I'll ever not like the Dolphin franchise. But, I'm still realistic knowing that as a business, you have to do what's best for the business. And hopefully this year we're doing the right thing for the business. So, but if they fall on their face, they don't make the playoffs, we're all going to be disappointed as we've been in the past. But I think this team right now is setting it up perfectly for the long haul and the run this year and next year. I think Greer's set it up. I think everything's good. But anyway, my grandparents, my parents, my uncles, my aunts, my mom, my grandparents had 12 kids, and all of them were Dolphin fans. So I had 12 aunts and uncles that were Dolphin fans, which in turn, they all had kids and aunts and uncles. So when you got together on a weekend watching Dolphin fans, it was, 30, 40 people watching Dolphin games sometimes. So it's totally ingrained. It's like going to, I would say, a barbecue with Cubans or Puerto Ricans where they have big barbecues. The family all comes over, you roast the pig and all that stuff. That's to me what it felt like to be part of a Dolphin game.
Okay, that's what's up. So before we get back to the throwbacks, now that free agency is come and gone, what was your favorite move, and two, what would you grade it this thus far?
Yeah, I think like I say, Ramsey's one of the great ones that we got opposite X. I think Long's great. Bringing back ABG. There's a couple. The running back team. I'd love to see a top-notch running back for sure. But with the running backs we had, I think the line is going to need some work still. The O-line. I hope they know what they're doing because this team needs that protection for Tua. I trust my coaches. Maybe it's to a fault. I hope they've been enough experience to know what they're doing. All these guys want to come for Fangio. Vic is really a draw for a lot of these guys. They're taking lesser contracts to come here on the defense. So we're setting it up for a great season. Injury seems like every year, the last year, the year before, that injury seems to be our main battle. The conditioning coaches need to be on point. The players need to be on point. Keep yourself healthy. Injuries kill football teams. So I think that and make sure we have the right side of the O-line set. We just got to make sure that's done. We have a great team. I think we're a B+, A-, free agency. I think we did really well.
All right, that's what's up, man. Appreciate it. So, all right, now back to the throwback. If you could remember, do you remember what your first game was and where it was? Your first game?
Well, I didn't go till later. Yeah, I remember the 72 finish of the Super Bowl. But I got the story behind the first game I went to as a Dolphin fan. One was I went to Tampa. We played Tampa in a preseason game. I really don't count that. The biggest game is my brother, of course, my other brother, my sister. They're not as big as Dolphin fans as I always said my brother Wayne. And to make it as short as possible, my brother Wayne was in law enforcement in Lake County, Florida. You can look it up, Wayne Kester. And make a long story short, he was killed in action doing a domestic disturbance. So and I've got stuff all over the wall with him and all that. But during his arrangements of his funeral, we reached out to the Miami Dolphins, and we asked. His one thing was he wanted to have the Miami Dolphin engraved into the top of his casket. Okay, the actual, I think it's the one, probably the new one, I'm sure. No, it's actually the one that looks like a cartoon figure. But we had to write a letter to get approval from the Miami Dolphins to get that put on his casket, a wooden casket. He was a law enforcement. The funeral was like miles long, but we actually had that. And I made the music for the funeral, and one of the songs during the music was the Miami Dolphin fight song. And so you got all these people at his funeral, and we're playing the Miami Dolphin fight song, the old one, playing during his funeral. At that point, because who was the owner back then? Was it Rob?
No, Wayne Huizenga.
Wayne Huizenga invited our family out to a game, and they put his picture, my brother's picture, on the big billboard of his service.
Oh, awesome.
It was only like 6 weeks to 2 months maybe after it happened. So I got a picture. It's actually right here. I'm going to pull it down. This is actually a picture. I'm going to make sure I hold it up.
Hold on, hold on. Give me a second.
Sure. So this is actually a picture of me, my sister, Wayne's son here, and then his wife, my dad, his kids down here. So that's us at the game, and you can see the logo is the cartoonish logo. But that was actually us at that game that the Dolphins invited us to. We got field access. We met the players, and they put my brother up on the big screen. So, that was probably the game I remember the most. Of course, why wouldn't it be? Because of what happened and everything going on. So that shows you what kind of organization, even though that was, not even this owner, was the owner before, that they really support and they go for the community. And we know from the Cancer Ride Challenge, we know from other things that our Dolphins support the community. So to me, that's another reason why we're Dolphin fans, is because we're not standalone. We go out and reach out to Florida and everything in it.
Yeah, man. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't know who these wonderful fans are, like Raphael Cartwright. I wouldn't know who Bleezy38 was. I wouldn't have met Stephen D. I wouldn't have met who TD. I've met some wonderful people, man, because of this YouTube community, man.
Yeah.
And what's funny is a lot of the fan bases don't have the type of communities we have where they open it up and interact with one another. Whether we're fighting or we're getting along, it doesn't matter. We're interacting with one another.
Yeah, and I thought about that not even 3-4 days ago. I thought, what other fan base can you reach out to that has – I could probably count on these fingers – main channels for YouTubers that have fan bases that people watch. We have such a big fan base and such people that support the YouTubers out there. And you can go to Twitter and you look at all the fans on Twitter and the comments they make. Half of them you want to throw out the window and half of them you want to agree with. But at least we're all participating and we're all enjoying each other and we have something to do. We have an off season. It's not an off season because we're always talking about something.
Have you ever been to the Orange Bowl?
I have. I've been to the Orange Bowl. Actually, the movie Black Sunday was where they actually filmed a film there. And my uncle and I actually went during the filming of that movie. If you look up Black Sunday, it's about a blimp that a terrorist hijacks, and he wants to crash it into the Orange Bowl during a football game. So it's called Black Sunday. I was actually there during the movie filming.
Oh, cool. And have you watched the game there?
No, I never got to see a game there. That's the only time I got to go to the Orange Bowl. My family did not have that kind of money. Of course, we lived – if you ever were in Davie back in the early 70s, where Davie now is more of a richer environment and all that, it was all trailer parks and horse farms and cattle. So we grew up in a lot of trailer parks. We didn't have that kind of money. So I grew up watching, like I said, going on, radio and newspapers for the games.
Yeah, the Miami Herald was my source of news.
Oh yeah.
I don't know why, but I really didn't. And it's not that I like the writing. I just like the presentation of the because I think the Miami Herald had better, like they had columns and they had better headlines too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because you always look for the sport page for Miami Dolphin games the next Monday or Tuesday, whenever it came out, and wanted to see the front page because you knew the story was going to be on the front of what they did or didn't do.
Yep. I'll never forget one of the headlines that I remember was they had a character of Jimmy Johnson, and he was he was playing chess like a chessboard. He had him playing chess with. So it's like it's awesome.
Yep.
So what would you say if you had to say what would you is your favorite year watching the Dolphins?
Boy, you got to go
Yeah,
back to
quick
the
one.
80s. You got to go back to 85, 86. I remember watching San Francisco game, the Super Bowl with Miami, Dan Marino, and what a heartbreak. I was actually remember exactly where I was during that game when we lost that game. And watching that year with Dan Marino, and he came out, and those kind of things. And like I say, you hope the same thing for Tua, that happens with Tua, that he can have one of those breakout years that he's throwing for. Marino would have thrown for 5,000-6,000 yards in this league the way he was playing. The quick throw. And we've seen that with Tua too. But the pocket presence that Marino had to get rid of the ball, which Tua has not really learned yet. You hope that he learns just to get rid of the ball. So I would say back 85, 86, those were the really games that you just knew anytime you're going to go to the Super Bowl. With Marino, you were there. So to make it that first year and then never make it again, you always waited. You always knew that Miami had a chance with Marino. You were never out of a game. You were always going to win a game because he could bring you back from 2 scores down in the last 5 minutes. So I think those were the biggest games for me is back then because I was at that time, I was 18, 19, 20 years old. So those were the biggest things.
All right, Vic, we have a question.
Oh, Bleezy. My favorite thing to cook is on my smoker. I cook a lot of food on my smoker, and I do brisket, I do ribs, I can do pretty much everything. I've learned my air fryer is my best friend because I cook stuff quick and I can make it, where it's enjoyable. But my smoker is my favorite. I got a Weber grill too. My Weber's nice. My favorite thing to cook. I'm gonna make some steaks tonight for my missus after we're done here. I do a mean steak, so there's so many different things I cook. I would say anytime you come over here and we have a get together, you're gonna eat good for sure.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
I remember recently you had Larry L over for a week for a game.
We did. We had Larry.
How was that like? Who else?
Oh, Larry, because I have a pool. This is my man cave. I'm in the man cave now, and there's not a spot on the wall that doesn't have something in it. But out there's a door that goes outside, and there's a TV outside, and there's a pool with a pool cage and all that stuff. So we hung out there, but I also have a TV in here, and I have a TV in the living room. So there's plenty of TVs you can watch games on. But we had a couple people over that were fans that follow Larry's channel. We had a good time. We had a great time. And I offer that every year. If anybody's in the area wants to come over and hang out, we'll do live stream from here while the game's going on. I also have, like I told you, I have StreamYard. So, we do good barbecue. I'll try to cook, something the night before all the way through. I'll smoke, pork butts and shoulders and I enjoy entertaining. That's what I enjoy doing. So we have a full bar and we have a full bar inside the man cave. Pretty much anything. You're talking about your big. I've got the honey whiskey. I've got all that stuff you're talking about. So I just have I love having a good time, and that's why positive attitude about our Dolphin team, good or bad or lose. I'm always going to have a positive attitude. So you come here, leave your attitude at the door because I can't fix that bad attitude, but I guarantee you're going to have a good time.
Yeah, exactly. At the end of the day, there's only one thing we could control, and that's our attitude. You know what I mean? So,
yep. Every person I ever hired in any business I've actually been a part of, a manager of, it's like, look, I can fix anything but a bad attitude, and you're not going to be happy here if you have one. I'm just telling you, because everybody I hire doesn't have one.
Exactly. and especially if you're in sales, bro, because at the end of the day, man, you have to put up with. You have customers from all walks of life, and you have to adapt to your customer.
Yeah, you have to be a person to everybody. And so I've learned of the last 30 years, I've learned to, ride the wave of every person you deal with and be their friend. Because I want to be friends with everybody. Sometimes you can't be, but it's not for me a lack of trying. So I know, and I tell you, I know a little bit about everything. I've been around the block. I've done a little bit of everything. I've read about a little. So if you could be that person, then that's really what makes you successful. So, hey, Dolphin fans, hit Shake up, hit Larry up. And if you ever want to come over here, if you're in the Ocala area, I'd love to have you over. You guys are all family. All my Dolphin fans are family to me. So That's what it's about. It's about being close and being tight knit as a group, as a fan base, but to put your thoughts aside of how the team should be and enjoy the team while you are here.
Yeah, exactly. So, what was your favorite game to watch? Like, how many games did you and Larry watch together?
Just the one. He came here, just the one.
Well, which game was it?
I don't remember. Maybe too many drinks or too much pool time or too much cooking. Because when I'm here, I'm like that host that does everything all around everybody. So I'll watch the game when there's big plays and I'll jump around and all that. But I am doing something while you're here. So there's no me sitting on the couch watching the game while you're here. I'm making sure you have everything you need. So it's tough to do that.
Hey, Finn, Iceman, what's up? Please make sure to hit the like button, please. That's all I ask.
Hit that thumbs up.
Yes, sir. All right. So you've seen all 5 of the Dolphins Super Bowl. I know there were heartbreaks and things like that.
1, 2, 3, 4. I don't remember the one before 71. So I remember 71, 72, and I'm like I said, I was only 5 and 6 years old, so I don't remember watching the game, but I remember my parents and grandparents' reaction. It's funny you say that because big opportunities in your life. I remember man landing on the moon in 69, but I was only 3 years old. But it's the big old moments in your life that you do remember because the people around you. The 85 Super Bowl, San Francisco.
And then there was one before that. There was one in between there before Marino.
Don't remind me which one.
It was the one with
who was the quarterback? Didn't leave an impact on me, I guess, because I don't remember it.
Yeah. They lost to the Redskins at the time. Redskins.
Okay, all right. So that would have been 70. Was that in the 70s?
It was like in the 80s. I think early 80s, 70s, around that.
Okay, I'll have to look into that. So that we'll address that because if you prepare me for this show, I would definitely know those facts. But and again, this is probably not even a fault. It's just the way I am. Is that I don't look backwards. I never have. I've been an optimistic person my whole life, and so I don't. Everything that's happened in my life between my marriages, my families, the Dolphins, everything has happened for a reason, and I am who I am because of them. I am a Dolphin fan the way I am because I don't go back to the old games. I love Marino. I love the games that I watched, but I'm always looking for the future and what's going to happen in today.
Yeah.
So I live in today. I'm not worried about the past. Of course, I watch those games, but today is the day that I'm living. So go Dolphins today and go Dolphins tomorrow. So, that's what I'm thinking about. And it's a blessing and a curse because when you ask me about my first marriage, I'll be like, okay, I know her name. I don't have to remember anything else. So, I'm with my current wife now. So if you ask me something about her, I'll know everything in the world about her, but not my first one for sure. So,
yeah. Well, that's like, for instance, one of my fond memories, one of my best games I remember was the first time we beat the Houston Texans. Dan Campbell was the coach. Jarvis Landry lit it up. That was one of my favorite games. I tell you what, man. I was so excited that game. This is how I was. Hold on. This was a footage of me going into work the next day.
Really? Too funny. Yeah, I remember those times. I remember Campbell. I mean, you thought Campbell was going to be the fire that lit everybody up just the way his attitude was. But that sometimes doesn't work out. It doesn't work out. You got to be able to be flexible.
And to be honest with you, I think they should have hired him instead of Gase.
Oh, 100%.
I think for 2 reasons. Number one, I think if you look at Dan Campbell, he's the type of coach that, hey, I'll coach what you give me. And secondly, they're both Parcells guys. Chris Greer was a Parcells guy. Dan Campbell was a Parcells guy. So they're because see, I understand that Brian Flores, he was more of a Belichick guy. You know what I'm saying? So it was like so but being that being that Dan Campbell was more of a Parcells type of guy, I think they would have been more aligned.
So you think that was a
vision.
Ross thing or a
Yeah,
Greer
I think
thing?
I think it was a Ross thing because he wanted the hot shot offensive coordinator. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
at the time it was Adam Gase,
Yeah.
hands down. Whether you like
The
him or
quarterback
not,
whisperer.
yeah, the quarterback whisperer. Whether it turned out or not, he was at that time the hot shot name.
He was.
So
Is he still in the league?
no?
Really?
Mm-mm.
Wow. We can pick him. Just saying.
Yeah, Joe Philman.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was a mess. Oh, all the coaches over the years. Even you love Jimmy Johnson, but even Jimmy Johnson, after he got rid of after Marino, he couldn't work with him.
Mhm.
And Marino was washed up at that point. He was done. But even Jimmy Johnson, he got Zach Taylor. I mean, the defense was great, but the offense, man, he just couldn't get it going.
Yeah,
Go back and look
he
at
tried.
these
He
teams.
tried, but
He did.
it all failed.
Yeah.
Util Green didn't work out. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yeah.
He was a
Good
1,000
players,
year.
too.
Yeah.
Good players. Couldn't string them up. That's the way it goes, though, football. You never know. Right now we've got, and again, I like the fantasy, or not the fantasy, the free agent picks that we're doing now. And I listen to some of these YouTube channels. They're like, yeah, let's get somebody that's proven that is going to be able to play for you, or do you go draft picks? There's that F the draft picks thing now going around. F the draft picks, because you don't know what you're going to get. You might get a 50% return. You might get a 30% return. If you're lucky, you get a 60% return. You never get 100. But at least with these proven players that we're getting from free agency by trading draft picks, we know what we got, dude. And you can't build it that way of long term, but we don't have long term in this case.
No. As a matter of fact, one of the marks, the black marks on Chris Greer, is that we had 3 first-round draft picks and hit Tua, and that's still, and the jury's still out on that one. I think it's a hit, but let's be honest, the jury's still out.
Oh yeah,
I think it's a stronger possibility that it is a hit than it isn't a hit.
I agree. I think you're probably 70%, maybe 75%, 80% maybe. But that 20% is what scares everybody. It scares all of us. It scares you. It scares me. So you're like, dude, if you stay healthy, we can go all the way to the top with this defense, with this offense, with the tools we have. This is a home builder's dream right now.
Yeah.
You've got a foundation. You got good backups. The defense has great backups. We need some more offensive line we talked about. But yeah, it's again, as Doug would say, I'd rather be surprised than But that's the way it is.
And I remember when I started doing the show, we were talking about the 2008 Dolphins when last time we won the division. And if you think about it, besides the only difference between Chad Pennington and Tua is Chad Pennington threw with his right hand.
Yeah, Chad was they and here's the thing, they still said, well, Tua's dink and dunk. Where Chad was the same way. But all these players, all these quarterbacks, because the way the defense are lining now, all these quarterbacks are dink and dunk, dude. They're getting rid of the ball fast. They're letting it go. They're not holding it for long. It's just the NFL, dude. Everybody moves to it. Tua was dink and dunking before these guys were. So, give me a break. Everybody's going to adjust to the game as the defenses evolve. Vic Fangio hopefully has learned by watching the year off that what the current trend is, and he can adjust our team ahead of the curve. I think that's really what this year means for our defense, is that he's got new wrinkles that people haven't seen. He's going to adjust the game to fit our style and keep people from scoring. If you can't score, you can't win.
All right. Now it's this time of the game, this time of the segment where we do the numbers game.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to shoot out 5 random numbers. You tell me what's the first player that comes to mind. All right.
Oh boy, I'm in trouble. I'm not a numbers guy, but I'll try.
I mean, everybody's done it. It's a fun activity. There's no right or wrong answers. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. All right.
85.
See, I don't know if I'm right, but Cox?
No, he was 51.
See?
Good guess.
85. 85. It's got to be a receiver.
Yeah, you could do a receiver.
Oh. Let me look at all my memorabilia, see if I can find an 85 in here. Jesus. No, I don't know. I'm not a numbers guy, dude. I don't remember numbers.
Nick Bonacani is one.
Okay, Nick Bonacani. So I remember 12, 13,
54.
1. I know 54 is Zach Thomas, of course. We know that. I got that.
All right, number 8.
Oh, 8 would be Moore.
More.
Oh,
Facebook user says Duper.
Duper. 85?
Mm-hmm.
Was Duper? Wow. Nice. Should have known that.
27.
Don't know. I'd be guessing.
Yeah. You can't even think.
No.
That's I would say Terrell Buckley.
Okay. I know Terrell Buckley, but I don't know his number.
14.
14. I don't think I'll be guessing again. I'll be guessing and proving myself wrong. So 14 would be Pennington.
14 was actually number 10.
10? 14 was
I'll say Jarvis Landry.
What was Tannehill? 11?
17.
17. See? And I was near the current date. That's our last quarterback. I don't know. See, that's the way I am. I'm not a numbers
guy.
guy.
I'll give you one last number.
12
you should get
12
this.
is greasy. I know 12 is greasy.
One last one, and you should get this one. All right.
Okay.
39.
Yeah. No.
There's 3 numbers retired: 13,
Really?
12, and 39.
39. So who's retired? You gave me a hint there. Greasy's retired. Marino's retired. Monicani?
Nope.
No. Oh, it's still he's alive now, right?
Yeah, he's still alive.
Yeah. I can't remember his name though. So Zonka. Thank you. Facebook user, whoever you were. Zonka. I cheated. That's okay. Now I'm numbers to me aren't a big thing. It says if I know the player and who I support, it goes from year to year. So I'm a year to year guy, and I buy the jerseys that are important to me at the time, and after that, I know, very few numbers. Really surprises me as long as I've been watching them, but it's not my thing.
All right. Let me ask you this.
Sure.
At the end of the every guest has built their ultimate team. Okay. We could do easy, or we could do beginner, or we could do pro. Beginner is I pick the offense for you, and you could pick the offensive line by year, because not too many people are into the weeds with offensive linemen, and I'll pick the defense for you, the formation defense, and then we could go from there.
Yeah, this is not going to be a good game for me. Just saying. So let's do this. Let's do Marino and the 85 line, offensive line.
All right, Marino and the 85 line.
Yep, and we're going to do the 16. No, I think was it the 08 defense?
Okay, the 08. 02 was better.
You think 02? Okay, all right, I'll go with that. So yeah, I think we've had, and the thing is, except for this year, and we still got a little work to do. We got 2 or 3 more positions to really try to hopefully take care of. This year has been closer to having an evenly matched team, offense and defense. We have so many stars, and I think TD was the first one to tell me this and support this, was that I only want 3-4 stars, 10 players, but I want a bunch of 7 and 8s. I want as many 7 and 8s as I can get. You give me 3 or 4 or 5 10s, that's going to be my team. And the quarterback, of course, is going to be – you can be average as a quarterback. And you have a bunch of good 7, 8s around him, but you got to be a hill. You got to have those guys that are going to stand out on offense and defense, which we do have. We got the best corners in the league. We got the best wide receivers in the league. We just got to have our guys step up. But go ahead with your game. What do you think?
All right. How about running back?
Oh, Ricky Williams.
All right.
Oh, yeah. What a beast. When he was actually wanting to play, or Brown. Brown was good. You know, there's a couple of them that stand out. Oh, you
You
go
wanna
back in the 70s
You want to do
too.
Ricky and Ronnie instead of a fullback? Ricky and Zonka?
Are you still there? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I thought it shut it off. Yeah, I hear you. What'd you say?
I could do Ricky and Ronnie, or Ricky and Zonka.
Oh, Zonka. Yeah, Zonka all day.
Okay.
I think Zonka would give today's NFL. Zonka would give Ricky a run for his money. The power back.
I remember him watching a show where they call he brought some flowers to his teacher, and they called him Larry Ferry, and then he fought the guys all the way into high school, and then all of a sudden they beat him up into high school, and then all of a sudden he became the bully.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Wow.
the guy was
Yeah.
tough as nails.
You know who could? I mean, I don't know if Zonka could break tackles like Ricky could though on a full run.
Yeah, but he was a good blocker.
He was. Yeah,
And
there's
that's all you needed to do was Ricky to get into the second level.
Yeah.
That's
Man,
all you
We've
needed.
had some good players, dude.
Okay, wideouts. How about wideouts? I'll do two wideouts for you.
Oh,
Just do two
go ahead.
wideouts. Name one. Two wide
I'm going to
receivers.
say, who's our coach now? That was our slot receiver.
A slot receiver now.
Yeah, no. Who's a coach now in the Dolphins?
Yeah,
I'm bad with names.
McDaniel. Mike McDaniel.
No. Who's our coach? Welker. Thank you, Wes Welker.
Okay. Yeah.
Facebook users helping me.
Okay.
Yeah, Wes Welker was probably one of the best slots, you know.
Uh-huh.
And wideout would be, Buckley was good. The Marks brothers were good. Who are you thinking?
If I had a wide receiver, what about you
But
had
look at our
Brandon
current
Marshall?
ones.
Brandon
Marshall. Yeah, you were talking about one
Devon
earlier.
Best.
Yep. Oh my God.
Who's the other one? Jarvis Landry.
Jarvis Landry. Yeah. I mean, and then even at times, who do we get rid of? Went to New England?
Who did we
Current.
get? Which who?
Current just went to New England.
Oh, Gesicki.
No, before that, the wide receiver.
Oh, Devontae Parker.
Yeah, I mean, the jump ball. Oh, my God, he could catch some jump balls. You know, the skill was there, but you got to have the whole game. If you wanted the whole game, you go for Duper, Clayton. Fryer's a good one. Oh, my God, there's so many different guys that we've had that can, you know. And then Waddle and Hill right now are those guys. They'll fight you for a ball.
By the way, Clinton Dix played for Green Bay. I think that was the coolest name ever. He was a safety. His name was Clinton Dix.
Really?
He played for Green Bay. I always thought that was funny.
Parents with names, huh?
Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, I'm a Gator fan, and there's a running back. Yeah, and there's a running back that they're recruiting. His name is Crystal Ball. That's his name. Crystal. His first name is Crystal. His last name is Ball. Crystal Ball.
Easy. Yeah, that's a good one. I mean, we've got some good players on our team right now. Yeah. I mean, we're stacked.
There we go. Here's another one. He's a rookie.
Yeah.
I'm hoping he could see the field.
Yeah, me too.
So, all right. And tight end.
God, I love Gesicki. How many good tight ends we've had?
That's what Larry was talking about. Larry L. He said the only one I remember he picked. There we go. Keith Jackson.
Yeah, he was local too. He was he was. There's one player from Zellwood where I used to live in Mount Dora. He was from Zellwood. Remember if it was Jackson or not, but he was local, I think, out of Orlando maybe. But yeah, there's really not been a lot of tight ends that I can think of that were top players. Farrell Edmonds. Yeah. Wow.
And it's of course, you know, I was hoping his son, the middle linebacker, came to Miami, but
yeah.
C'est la vie.
Yep. Can't get them all.
Look at the Bosa brothers. Oh
yeah.
His dad played in Miami. He was a Miami guy.
Yep.
And all
All
right,
right.
so finally, so who would you say are your two wide receivers? You never really said it. So
Oh,
say
I got to
Mark.
go with Hill. I got to go with Hill.
Okay.
I got to go with Hill. His speed and his fight and movement with the ball, even though it may be misthrown, he comes back and gets it. And then either one of Clayton was good. You look at some of those Marino throws.
Mm-hmm.
Clayton was one of the best. There's so many wide receivers we've had that I think it's injustice to even pick, two of them. You can make a list with 20 people on it and not say, okay, that was a good one.
So
especially with today's league, I think past the 90s is where the wide receiver really became more important than back in the 70s and 80s because we were more defensive back then.
I'll tell you what. Instead of doing a tight end, I'll let you get one more wide receiver.
Fasano was good too. Wow, I forgot about Fasano. You got to do Jarvis Landry. I mean, some of those catches on the sideline and the one-handed catches, the skill level was there. If I had a Hill, you got to go Waddle, but Waddle's not been playing long enough.
Mm-hmm.
So for longevity would be Hill, Landry,
and you say
Clayton and Duper.
Clayton and Duper, okay.
Yeah, Clayton and Duper. And then look at Jensen was a big player.
That's who. That's who Larry picked for his guy.
I have a helmet signed by Jensen here.
Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, one of the guys' color commentary was saying he compared Jensen to Matt Collins.
Matt Collins, yeah.
Matt Collins, he was a do everything guy.
Yeah.
There's
different players like that. Yeah. There's different players like that. You think about there's quarterbacks, you think of that can run and throw. There's tight ends that can block and catch. You look at Kelsey. I mean, God, these players are once in a lifetime sometimes. Once every 20 years, you see a player that can do the game all the way around. You look at Crash Jensen, you look at Kelsey, you look at Jack. Even I wouldn't put Jackson there because I don't think his throwing games is that great. But look at Mahomes. There's so many different Gadsden. Look at Gadsden and McDuffie, OJ. We've been very lucky to watch some of these players on our team over the years.
That is correct. And before we go, what do you have any rituals or traditions that you do before any game?
Have a good time. I always try to watch the pregame show, the coaches show, whether it be McDaniel, Flores, before that, Gase. I pretty much have watched the coaches show right before on Sunday at 11. That's probably my first thing I do to see what the coach says. And then I'll try to watch the day before. I'll try to watch the opposing team replay of the game they had before just to see what it's like. So I just try to stay up on the football and see what our chances are. So, and I watch YouTube football every day. I watch YouTubers every day about Miami Dolphins. There's not a day goes by I don't watch somebody. So I'm always on it, always paying attention. My wife will tell you the same thing. If I'm not working or doing something for her in the house, I'm watching YouTube.
Yeah. I enjoy putting on some Bluetooth headphones.
Yeah.
And while I'm working, listening to them in the background.
Yeah. If you can do that. But I usually use my drive to work and after work, I watch it. And then when I'm in the shower, it's on, sitting on the shelf. And I'm in the bathroom getting ready, it's on the shelf. My phone is watching YouTube, pretty much Dolphin football all the time.
And so is the Facebook user. Apparently.
Yeah.
So what are any final thoughts before we wrap this up? So you could, I know the missus is hungry for some steak.
She wants some steaks on the grill. Get some T-bones I'm going to put on the grill. I'm going to put some seasoning on them, put them on that Weber out there. Then I'm going to put some garlic butter. I'm going to melt the butter, put some garlic powder in there and put it on there. And I'm going to put those on right before they're done.
Damn.
Flip them over, sear the outside really good. And then I think we're going to have some potato salad and we're going to have maybe some vegetables, maybe green beans. So yeah, we got a great
got
dinner
me
coming.
hungry. All right, man.
So my thoughts are that I'm going to be positive. I'm going to trust my coaches because that's what we hire them to do. You never want anybody on a Dolphin team to fail, any coaches, any players. That's not why we're here. We want every player we have on this team to win. And if they win, we win. So those people that want to see Tua fail, shame on you. Go find some other team to respect and have fun with. It's not for us, dude. Just have fun with it. Enjoy it. It's not permanent. Life is more important than football. And, enjoy life. Football isn't life. Life is football, and football is life. You gotta have an even balance. So, enjoy it. I have so much stuff here that would tell you otherwise, but you know what? I'm not going to sweat it. It's just fun. I enjoy it. I enjoy meeting people, YouTubers and fans and all that stuff. So if you guys, my last thought, if you're ever in the Ocala area on a football Sunday and you want to come here and enjoy a game, you're welcome.
All right, brother. I appreciate you. You have a good night, and fins up, baby.
Fins up. Ride them high.
That's what's up. Thank you, Vic. Appreciate you. That was Vic Coaster, man. And again, he is one of the reasons why I started this channel, man. For memories like this. So we could talk about the good days and how we, became Dolphin fans and just the sheer memory of every game has a memory linked to it. I'd like to thank everybody who came in. Especially thank you to Anthony. I can't pronounce your last name. I don't want to butcher it, but thank you for the donations. Once again, please hit the like button, subscribe if you are new, and we will see you next week for another installment of In the Blender with your host, Shake Money. I am out. Peace.